Okay, guys. Hi. How are you? Let's talk about Module 5. Life in the past. What are we gonna learn? Places in a town, pharmacy, grocery store, ancient civilizations, the Incas, the Mayas, the Taínos, the Aztecs. Past activities. Last year I didn't study English. In 2005 I started working at the airport. Type of movies. Documentaries, drama. You also have horror movies, trailers, etc. Personal memories. Oh, when I was a kid, my father used to take me to church with him. Grammar. Simple past of be, can, have, simple past of regular and irregular verbs. Everyday English. Talk about childhood memories. Pronunciation of ed ending. There are three ways to pronounce the past of regular verbs. Um, an email to a friend recommending a movie you saw. Life in the U.S. The groovy 1960s. We're also going to learn about the Native Americans. Okay, read the box. Which of the places can or can't you see in the picture? Well, I can see a pool. I can't see a theater. I can't see a beach. I can see a park and a zoo. I cannot see a gym, a library, or a fast food restaurant, an opera house. I can see an aquarium, but I can't see a supermarket. All right, listen and circle.
1.
So, Jane, how was your weekend?
It was very nice. It was exciting to see the giraffes and take photographs of the monkeys.
She was at the
2.
zoo.
What was the play like, Tony?
It was amazing. All the actors were great too.
3. Where is my book? I can't find it on the desk.
It's on the table in my room.
Okay, this one was at the theater, and this one is at home. All right,
Yesterday afternoon, I was at a fast food restaurant. I was at the beach.
all right. Good. Continue. Now we're going to 5A. We're going to learn about long ago. Listen and say.
Theater,
Theater,
post office, cafe, restaurant, department store,
repeat,
bakery,
bakery,
parking lot,
parking lot,
hotel, bookstore, museum,
museum,
hospital, apartment building, clothing store, grocery,
all right. All right, was or where? I was at the museum yesterday. Were you at the museum yesterday? Yes, I was. Or no, I wasn't. I wasn't at the zoo yesterday. I wasn't at ITLA yesterday. Was he at the theater last night? Were you at the theater last night? Yes, I was. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. No, he wasn't. All right. Yes, we were. No, they weren't. Ahí está. That is the past of the verb to be in the different conjugations. Let's complete this. Where was Steve last night? Porque Steve es he y está en singular. Alright. He was at home. Was Bob with him? Para preguntar, lo pongo al revés. Comienzo con was. Then I say no, he wasn't. He and Kelly were, porque son dos, it's plural. He and Kelly were at the theater. Were you at the gym yesterday afternoon? Bien, este where es sí, estuvo. No es el where con H intercalada entre la W y la E que significa dónde, sino estuvo. ¿Estuviste en el gimnasio ayer por la tarde? No, we were. Estuvieron. Estuvieron. Es plural. Te está preguntando a ver. We were. We were at the zoo. Where were you? I casi no se ve. I was at the library. Look and say what there was or there wasn't on Main Street 50 years ago.
There was a theater on Main Street 50 years ago. There wasn't a post office.
Alright, there was a theater, there wasn't a post office.
There was a grocery on Main Street 50 years ago. There wasn't a supermarket.
There was a clothing store on Main Street 50 years ago. There wasn't a department store.
There was a cafe on Main Street 50 years ago. There wasn't a hotel.
There was a bakery on Main Street 50 years ago. There wasn't a restaurant.
There was a bookstore on Main Street 50 years ago. There wasn't an apartment building.
Okay. Remember, Main Street es la calle principal. Main Street. Listening and reading. What do you know about Pompeii? Why do they call it the lost city?
Pompeii was an ancient Roman city. A volcano destroyed it.
Alright. Let's learn about Pompeii.
Pompeii was an ancient Roman city near Naples, and Mount Vesuvius, a volcano in Italy. It was a busy city, and its narrow streets were often full of people. In the center of the city, there was a large marketplace and a forum. There was a large amphitheater and two smaller theaters where people watched performances. There were also temples and public baths, and many buildings had running water. The town had bakeries, restaurants, and even a hotel. Unfortunately, it wasn't a very lucky city, and in 79 AD, the eruption of Mount Vesuvius destroyed it and buried it under ash.
Narrow streets. It means very small streets. Alright? Okay. Match the underlined adjectives in the text to their opposite. Empty, it will be full, the opposite, right? Wide, narrow. Modern, ancient. Private, public. Unlucky, lucky. Small, large. There it is. Affirmative of had. Read the table, find examples in the text. I had a bike at the age of 5. I didn't have a car. Did you have a bike? Aquí va presente porque ya did le está poniendo el tiempo pasado. Yes, I did. No, I didn't. Did. Yes, I did porque se responde con el primer verbo con que se pregunta. Alright, miren ejemplos ahí. Many buildings had running water. The town had bakery. Okay? I'm sorry. Continue. Now, make true sentences about Pompeii. Pompeii wasn't a Spanish town. It was in Italy. So it was an Italian town. There were movie theaters in ancient Pompeii. No, they weren't. Come on. Why did you say they were? They weren't. There was a hotel. Porque yo sé que es singular porque habla de uno. A hotel. There was a lot of people in the city. They're where? Oh, why? Because, let's see. Yes, people is plural. They're wearing restaurants. I'm sorry. They're wearing. They're where restaurants. The town. 1 second. The town had running water. The town, o sea, le llegaba el agua a la casa. The town didn't have wide streets. They had narrow streets. They had public bathrooms, public baths. And there weren't supermarkets. They didn't have. Good. Perfect. Okay. Read text again. Imagine you're an archaeologist. In 3 minutes, write what Pompeii had and what it was like before the eruption. The other class.
Pompeii was a beautiful and busy city. It had many buildings and narrow streets. There were temples and public baths. It had bakeries, restaurants, and a hotel.
Okay. That's about it. Watch this video. 1 second. Let me lower the microphone. Uh-oh. Houston, we have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. Oh, por ahorita yo lo hice sin problema. I did it with no problem before. Let's see. Okay, good. Let's go for the video.
Life in Pompeii was stopped in its tracks. Today, excavations of this once booming city offer the best look anywhere at ancient Roman life. For archaeologists, Pompeii was a shake-and-bake windfall. Ancient Rome controlled the entire Mediterranean Sea. That made it a kind of free trade zone, and Pompeii was an important port town. It was big, 20,000 people. It was an important commercial center. Imagine this square, just busy with market activity. And because it was a port, it was a kind of a sailor's quarter, and that meant it was fun. Lots of bars, baths, brothels, restaurants, and places of entertainment. The main square, or forum, was Pompeii's commercial, religious, and political center. The curia housed the government. It was built of brick and mortar, a Roman invention. It was originally faced with gleaming marble. The basilica, or law court, was nearby. Here you see the basilica floor plan that medieval churches adopted after Christianity became legal. In good Roman style, the city was well organized, with a grid street plan contained within its walls. Remains of homes give a glimpse into Roman lifestyles. The House of Vetti, the home of a wealthy merchant, shows the typical layout of a mansion. Its colonnaded atrium, with formal garden and water flowing to give freshness, was ringed by colorfully frescoed rooms. For a better understanding of life at Pompeii, Italian archaeologist Gaetano Manfredi is taking us on a walk. Pompeii's impressive baths were just past the gymnasium. After working out, Romans would relax, be pampered, and enjoy the social scene in a public bath.
This was the tepidarium, so people coming from gymnasium after sport, they were massaged by the slaves. Inside the niches all around there were oils, creams, perfumes for the body massages. A part of the ceiling is still original, and so we can see how beautiful decorated was once all the ceiling. They were massaged by the slaves 25-30 minutes before going to the sauna, because tepidarium means lukewarm bath. After the tepidarium, there was the calidarium, which was the hot bath. beside this wall, there was a room where the slaves made the fire. The hot air went underneath the double floor, because this floor is supported by little columns, and the hot air went between the double walls. There was a circulation of hot air, and just when everything was really hot, they opened the water of a fountain over here. The water slowly fell on the floor was so hot, and this produced steam. The last stop was the frigidarium, the cold bed. As we still do today, after the sauna, to harden the muscles and for the body circulation, the cold bed.
Water was abundant in this well-plumbed city. Fountains provided a social center at intersections, and a steady stream of water flushed the chariot-rutted streets clean. So why the stones in the street here?
Well, there was always water flowing along the roads and washing the roads, so that's why the sidewalk all over and the stepping stones.
So the pedestrians walk across
could
and not
cross
get wet?
road, avoiding wet feet.
Very smart. While the sight is evocative, the horrors of that day in 79 AD are hard to imagine.
Thousands of people died in this eruption. Here we have the cast of those people. During the excavations, sometimes the archaeologists fell under the volcanic materials some empty spaces left by the decomposition of bodies. And so what they did, they injected liquid plaster in these empty spaces. The liquid plaster took the form of the previous bodies, and when it dried up, the archaeologists cleaned all the ash away and appeared the body in the same position the man was when he died 2,000 years ago.
One day a thriving city, the next day, this.
Okay, people, that's about it. We're finished with Pompeii. Now we know everything about Pompeii. No, uno nunca sabe todo. But we know a little bit. Sabemos un poquito. Alright? De Pompeii. Por lo menos más que antes. Now let's learn about 5H. Ancient civilizations. Ancient Egyptians. Listen to the phrases and say.
Fished. Lived in houses made of mud bricks. Ruled.
Hecha de ladrillos de lodo.
Played board games. Worked as farmers. Artists. Hunted. Attended school.
Attended school.
Had boats and transported goods. Played music. Could build pyramids.
Could build pyramids. Alright, todo eso se los explico. Alright, continue. Listen to this recording. A second. Vamos a bajar un poquito del micrófono para que no haga feedback. Here we go. Aquí vamos.
Ancient Egyptians. Ancient Egyptians lived along the banks of the Nile River in northeast Africa. Pharaohs ruled this great and powerful empire for more than 2,500 years. The ancient Egyptians lived in houses made of mud bricks, but they could also build houses and gigantic pyramids from stone. They worked as farmers and artists. They hunted animals and fished on the Nile River. They also had boats and transported food and other goods along the river. In their free time, they played music or board games. Only wealthy boys attended school. They studied hieroglyphics. Ancient Egypt had a great civilization, which many people still study and admire today.
They were farmers? Yes. They fished on the Nile River? Yes. They played soccer? False. Only boys attended school? Yes. So they were. Eran machistas. They were sexy. Alright? Grammar. Could. Simple past of can. Pasado simple de can. I can go to the beach. No. Pasado. Could I go to the beach? Alright? I could walk at the age of 2. Ahí está. El pasado de can es could. Yeah, I couldn't walk at the age of 2. Para preguntas, cambia se invierte. Could you write at the age of 5? Yes, I could. No, I couldn't. Vamos a practicar. Use the text to complete the sentences with had, didn't have, could, or could. They had boats. Okay, ellos pudieron botes, no hace sentido. They could transport things by boat. They could deal. No, they didn't have apartment building. They could travel. They couldn't travel by plane. They didn't have cars. All right, listen and check.
In ancient Rome, most people didn't have much time for fun. However, when they did have time, they all, rich or poor, loved to play games. They had fun ball games, board games, and also dolls and toy soldiers. One ball game was a lot like our popular game of soccer today. Romans went to bathhouses once a day to bathe and swim. The ancient Romans worked hard all day. Most people could not read or write because they couldn't go to school. Only rich boys went to school. The ancient Romans loved music. They could play the flute and the guitar, but they didn't have pianos. They didn't have bikes or cars either, so they didn't travel often.
Okay, now let's answer. They could swim? Yes. They could read? They could write? No, they couldn't read. Si no podían leer, creo que no podían escribir. They could play the piano? No. They could ride bikes? No. Es muy avanzado para ellos. Alright, what about you? Use the verbs below to ask and answer questions.
Could you swim at the age of 6?
Yes, I could. No, I couldn't.
Could you read at the age of 6?
Yes, I could. No, I couldn't.
Could you write at the age of 6?
Yes, I could. No, I couldn't.
Could you play the piano at the age of 6?
Yes, I could. No, I couldn't.
Could you ride a bike at the age of 6?
Yes, I could. No, I couldn't.
Okay, good. Continue. Simple past of regular verbs. Terminan en ed. Ed. Alright? And, excuse me. Patty. I didn't play tennis yesterday. Okay? El negativo sería con didn't. Y el verbo en presente. We use simple past for actions which happened at a certain time in the past. He phoned his friend last month. Expressions of time. Last week, last month, last year, a week ago, 2 days ago, yesterday afternoon, yesterday evening, etc. Read the theory box, find examples in the text. Okay? Usualmente se le agrega ed, las que terminan en vocal se le agrega una d, las que terminan en consonante se elimina la y y se pone i, verb ending in one stressed vowel between two consonants, una vocal entre dos consonantes, se le explica la última. Stop. Okay. Oops. Okay. Está negado. Write the simple past forms below. Arrive, I think it's arrive. Exist, existed. Play, played. Design, designed. Ask, asked. Hurry, hurried. I mean right here. Want, wanted. Stop, stopped. Trouble, troubled. Discover, discovered. Ahí está. Columbus discovered America. Listen and check the correct boxes. Yo les decía que tiene tres pronunciaciones. Aquí está.
D. Id.
All right.
Arrived.
Creo que es esta. Ya sé.
Existed. Existed. Played. Played. Played.
Played. Ah, bueno.
Designed.
Designed.
Asked. Asked. Hurried. 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 Wanted. Wanted. Stopped. Stopped. Traveled. Traveled.
No. Era eso. Me equivoqué.
Discovered.
Okay. Ahí están los tres pronunciations, the possible ones. Continue. The Vikings. Use simple past with the verbs below to complete the sentence. The Vikings lived in Scandinavia. I'm sorry. They worked as traders and mercaderes, comerciantes. They traveled to England in the 8th century. Right. They designed ships to sail fast. Eric the Red discovered Greenland in 1981. They played games, music, and sports. The Vikings lived in Africa. No, the Vikings didn't live in Africa. They lived in Scandinavia. They worked as sailors. Let's see. No, the Vikings didn't work as sailors. They worked as traders. They designed airplanes. No, they didn't design airplanes. They designed ships to sail fast. Eric the Red discovered China in 1981 AD, después de Cristo. No, Eric the Red didn't discover China in 1981. He discovered Greenland. Okay. Continue. Read the table. How do we form questions in the simple past? Did he play tennis yesterday? Yes, he did. No, he didn't. Right? Usamos did delante, luego el pronombre, luego el verbo. Did Juana bring the notebook to the class? Alright. Did you study for the test last week? Alright. Did Nelson work last Sunday? Use the phrases to ask and answer questions about the ancient.
Did they live on boats?
No, they didn't.
Did they work as farmers?
Yes, they did.
Did they fish on the river?
Yes, they did.
Did they sail boats?
Yes, they did.
Did they play music?
Yes, they did.
Did they play soccer?
No, they didn't.
Did ancient Egyptian girls attend school?
No, they didn't.
Collect information about the Aztecs. Write true or false statements about them. Exchange with another. The Aztecs lived in central Mexico? I think so. They had a great empire in the 20th century? No. It was earlier than that. They were fishermen? No. They used beans as money? Not money. Girls stayed at home to help with cooking and cleaning? Yes. They played card games? Hey, no mistake. The feature is not easy.
The ancient Egyptians.
The ancient Egyptian civilization began over 4,000 years ago, and for almost 3,000 years, Egypt was the most powerful Mediterranean society. Today, by studying the things they left behind, like their artwork, their buildings, and their writings, scholars continue to discover more and more about this fascinating culture. So who were the ancient Egyptians? The early inhabitants along Egypt's Nile River settled there around 5000 BC. However, people consider the beginning of the ancient Egyptian civilization to be in 3200 BC, when King Narmer united the kingdoms of the Nile under his rule. Today, people remember the Egyptians for being great farmers, artists, and mathematicians. But perhaps one of the main things we remember the Egyptian for is their peculiar way of looking at death. The Egyptians believed that life was only a preparation for the afterlife. Because of this, they went to great lengths to preserve the bodies of their dead through mummification. First, they cleaned the body. Then they removed all organs except for the heart and put them in separate jars. After filling the body with stuffing and sprinkling it with salt, they wrapped it with long strips of cloth. The Egyptians buried people with their belongings, which they believed could be used in the afterlife. The Egyptians first began to build massive stone graves for their leaders in Saqqara, which is about 30 kilometers south of Cairo. At first, the graves were just huge underground rooms covered with a large flat stone. Later, people began to stack the stone slabs to create step pyramids. The first one was 63 meters high. However, when people think about Egypt's pyramids, those of Giza are probably the ones that come to mind. There are 10 pyramids here, but 3 of them stand out. The largest and oldest pyramid of Giza is that of the pharaoh Khufu, also known as the Great Pyramid. Khufu's pyramid is 147 meters tall. Workers built this structure using about 2.3 million stone blocks, each weighing between 2.5 to 15 tons. Amazingly, this pyramid faces almost exactly north. The rock that you can see today was originally covered with white limestone, which was so shiny and white that people could see the Great Pyramid glistening in the sun from a huge distance. What happened to this white stone? People stripped it and used it to build other temples and buildings around Egypt. The second largest pyramid belonged to Khafre, the son of Khufu. This building features a giant statue known as the Sphinx. The Sphinx statue has the body of a lion and the head of a pharaoh. Even today, Nobody knows exactly how the Egyptians built their pyramids. What is sure is that tens of thousands of people helped to build them. There is a lot of mystery surrounding the pyramids. However, it is this and the beauty of them that continue to inspire visitors from all over the world.
Yes, sir. All right, so you learn now about the civilization of the Aztecs. The ancient Egyptian civilization lasted for about 1,000 years. They lived near the Nile River. They believed that life went on after death. Yes. So one step of mummification was removing the heart. False. Early pyramids are in Saqqara. The Great Pyramid was the pyramid of Khafre. No. The Great Pyramid was originally white. Yes. Khafre era un loco que vivió por mi casa. All right. 5D. No, 5C. The groovy 1960s. See what's the meaning of groovy? What did the picture tell us?
The pictures tell us that back in the 1960s, Americans had TVs and that man landed on the moon. They also show us that Americans listened to the Beatles.
Okay. Free and complete. Well, let's listen to it first. Here we go. Ya conocen esa página, ya no les sorprende.
The groovy 1960s. Music and dance. In the 1960s, teenagers listened to rock music bands on their portable radios. They were crazy about the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, the Rolling Stones, and many other bands. Young people also enjoyed dancing in the 60s. They loved dances like the twist and the mashed potato. Fashion. In the 1960s, the girls had mini skirts and boots, and the boys had leather jackets and jeans. Around 1968, the hippie style was popular too, with lots of cheap and colorful clothes. Movies and television. Young people liked going to the movie theater in the 60s. The first James Bond movie appeared in 1962, and science fiction movies started using new special effects. Also, by the 60s, most homes had a television. In 1969, families all over America watched Neil Armstrong walk on the moon.
All right. Look for the words that you don't know and look for them in the dictionary. All right. The 60s teenagers listened to rock music. Their favorite music bands were Led Zeppelin and the Rolling Stones. Las Piedras Rolas. They liked dancing, twist and the mashed potato. The girls wore miniskirts and boots. The boys wore vestían leather jackets and jeans. The first James Bond film appeared in 1962. Science fiction movies started using new special effects. In the 60s, most homes had a TV. Alright, the mashed potato dance. Let's see what that is. Aquí están los videos que yo les voy subiendo a ustedes. Un truco. Se escribe youtube.com, le da tab y ahí escribe lo que usted va a buscar y así hace una búsqueda directa. Mashed potato dance. El baile de la papa aplastada. ¿Okay?
I'm Steven Brunson. Today on Steven's Midnight Snack, we're going to make one of my favorite dishes, mashed potatoes. This is a secret Brunson family recipe from my family to yours.
Now, wait a minute here, Steven. How can you have a secret family recipe for mashed potatoes?
You can have a secret family recipe for anything.
All right, then, let's see what you've got.
All right, so first, you take a box of mashed potatoes, just like this. And they're instant, by the way. Instant.
Instant. Steven, really?
It's the best we can do. What do you expect? Anyway, so you take a bowl. You pour.
Don't have much time, so you better talk less. Right? Medio aburrido. Vamos a enseñarle cómo se hace. Let me teach you how it's done.
Hey everyone, this is Cool Cats RS, showing all you cool cats out there how to do the mashed potato dance. Alright, I'm going to show you what it looks like real quick, and then I'll break down how to do it. Alright, the basics of the mashed potato is basically like the very first steps of the 1920s Charleston, which you can find a link to my video here on how to do that. So if you have the 1920s Charleston down, this is going to be simple and easy. So the very basic form of it looks like this. It's heels in while you're on your toes, then heels out. Again, so heels in, and then heels out. One more time, so heels in, toes out, and then toes in, heels out. From behind, it is heels in.
Enough mashed potato dance for today. Se siente, yeah. Okay. Match the words in bold to the definition, okay? Portable. Enthusiastic about what? Easy to carry, portable. Enthusiastic about, crazy about. For example, I'm crazy about teaching. Nelson is crazy about customer service at the airport. Leslie is crazy about soda. Let me see. Lisalo is crazy about his family. Alright? That you are enthusiastic about. Material made of animal skin, leather. No tenemos zapatos de leather. Cosas así. Continue. Young people loved dancing in the 60s.
Young people loved dancing in the 1960s. They loved the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. Boys had leather jackets and girls had miniskirts and boots. The hippie style was popular too. People had televisions and they watched Neil Armstrong walk on the moon in 1969.
All right. Continue. Compare life in the US in the 60s and the life in our country nowadays. Bueno, ahora se bailan cosas peores.
In the 60s in the USA, young people listened to music on their portable radios. Today in my country, they have MP3 players. The fashion is also different. In the 60s in the USA, the hippie style was popular. But today in my country, most people wear jeans and less colorful clothes. In the 60s in the USA, they liked going to the movie theaters to watch movies. Today in my country, people still go to the movies, but they also watch DVDs at home or movies on the internet.
All right, people. Continuing. Well, that's it. I'm afraid that's it, people, for now. Enjoy watching. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.